Evening, guys. It's just a quick video of me being here, and then I'll swap over to the usual chat, just so you know it's me, not some what do you call it, a imposter. Just wanted to just throw a bit of a chat out there, see how everybody's going. I know I haven't been updating much lately, and I'll be honest with you, I've been ridiculously busy. So quite willing to get on the chat with anybody. If you want to discuss anything, please feel free to get on board. I'm just going to switch the audio off. Just check it's working. Okay, so the audio is working fine. So Neil Hargreaves, evening, Matt. Evening, mate. How's it going? I've got to admit, I've been really, really busy lately, and I know somebody commented in one of the other videos that business is a hobby for me. It's not. It's not a hobby. I'll be honest with you. The way I work in business, as you may have noticed, if you look at the stuff relating to call centers, it's got to be worth my while. So if it's not worth my while, quite simply, I'm not interested. I'm not interested in making small amounts of money. The reason for that being is I get paid quite well as a surveyor in the UK anyway. Oh, hang on. I've got a call coming in. 2 seconds. I'll switch that off. It's actually Jay. I'll get Jay to actually come onto the live chat. That'll be easier to do. But yeah, on the live chat, I'm talking like I'm on TV. Hang on a second. I'm on the live chat. Okay. Yeah. So that's all right. Yeah. So one of the things I want to say is business-wise, it's not that I treat it as a hobby. It's got to be a business that has to be worth bothering with. If I'm going to make 10,000 or whatever, I'm not interested. I can make a lot more than that. That's why I tell people, if you're serious about business, really do focus on something that's going to be worth your time, because you can spend a lot of time not making a lot of money, or you can spend a little bit of time making a lot of money. And that's the bit you've got to look at. It's either going to be something you enjoy doing that often doesn't make money, which is fine, because a lot of people like things like scuba diving and things like that, where they're not big money makers, but if you're doing something you love, it's good. But if you're in it for money, it's got to be worth your time. Mike Carell, good morning from Australia. What do you do for leisure time? At the moment, my leisure time is spent around my kids. We spend a lot of time in restaurants. We've been to 5 restaurants in the last 4 days, I think. But when the weather changes, because it's quite cold here at the minute, we'll be doing a bit of snorkeling. I'm hoping to buy a boat next year. Yeah, Tutu STE22. I'm now into crypto. Are you? Yeah, I'm into crypto as well. I'm into many markets, but yes, I'm into crypto as well, and it's paying quite well. If you ask me if Bitcoin's going to make some money, Bitcoin's going to keep going up in value. That's all I can say on that one. But yeah, the fact is, you've got to be doing stuff that is worth your time. If it's not worth your time, then it's simply not worth burdening yourself with. There's a lot of projects that people bring to me, and I actually advise people, look at the business you're looking at, because it may not be right. They think, yeah, but I love this. It's going to do this, going to do that. And it's like, but it may not be the first time that's been done. Second, it may not be the right way of approaching it. Thirdly, you may be better off selling the idea to somebody else and just skimming off the top and moving on to a new project. There's a lot of reasons in business that you should be looking at alternatives. TutuSTET2, I made a fortune on crypto. Yeah, there's good money in crypto. There is good money in it. But you've got to understand how to trade as well. That's the other important thing on that. Mike Carell, the 2 best times of boat ownership is when you buy it and when you sell it. Don't do it. Yeah, I mean, I look at the boats here. We have a lot of options here, anything from probably about 2,000 euros up to €500,000. Not difficult to purchase, and I know what you're talking about, because like the mooring fees here can mount up quite quickly, but also the maintenance of vessels is quite expensive as well. But they're good fun. I mean, the good thing we have here is you can go and hire one for the day for probably a couple of €100. I think they're about €40 for an hour or something, but you can't really have fun for an hour, can you? You've got to hire it for the day and head off out. So yeah, but I do love boats. I love boats, fast cars, all that sort of stuff. And it's one of the problems I have with business investments is steering myself away from the stuff I love. I know they're money pits, but it's like anything. If you love something, you already know it's going to burn a hole in your pocket, but you're just thinking, doesn't it look great? Doesn't it do this? You justify it to yourself all the time. Paul Johnson, does your future destiny belong in the Philippines, given that you recommend it so much as a place to live? The Philippines is still very much on my radar. There's a lot of stuff I'm doing charity-wise in the Philippines, and I'm not promoting it. We were actually at lunch today talking about some of the stuff we're doing over the Christmas period. The reason being is I don't ask people for donations. It's actually our money. We actually invest our own cash and giving it to people. For me, I'm more content in people being happy, you know. But the big problem I have in the Philippines is often finding the right people to give what I donated, rather than giving a small amount I donated and the rest going in their pockets. But yeah, I still love the Philippines. The guys that worked in my call center before are waiting for me to reopen it, and I'm trying to get them to understand that the skills have moved on since then. You know, it's okay taking customers' calls and all that sort of stuff, but they need to move on to other projects. I know they're working for a lot of the big ISPs. They're working for some of the telephone companies. They're working for PayPal and other companies. But if they want to come back to our center, it's going to be more geared towards things like marketing, YouTube, predominantly focusing on business and development rather than dealing with telephone calls, quite simply because it's a better market for me. 22STE22. I'm moving to the Philippines next year. I've got plenty of income, but I want something to occupy my time that might make a little money. What would you do? For me, I come from a construction background anyway, so I did construction. I was building things and renovating and getting involved in that side of things. The other option is charity, getting involved in charity things or plantations, or, you know, getting a small holding. There's a lot of stuff to do. You know, it's a case of looking at stuff you enjoy, because let's face it, a lot of stuff is not a financial investment. Even on my earlier videos, I mentioned I write most of this stuff off as an expense, because quite simply, although we have properties in the Philippines, I don't really count them as a financial asset. They're an asset to my wife or an asset to my wife's family. But financially, as a going concern, I would have been better off investing elsewhere. But it doesn't mean it's wrong. It just means for me that, oh, hang on, I pressed the wrong button there. It just means for me, I can make more money elsewhere. This is why I put real estate as one of those things that is an investment if you just want to settle down and just get your money every month. But I do find, like here in Spain, I took the money I was going to use in the deposit here, and like 22STE22 did, I invested it elsewhere, and it's made a lot of money elsewhere. Yeah, Don Co, build a greenhouse for non-GMO farming. Yeah, there is actually an organic movement in the Philippines. It's worth looking that up. I mean, I support it, but they're not insular. They just don't promote themselves very well. But I agree with you. There's certainly a market there. Mike Carell, is your YouTube vlogging a supportive income if you put your mind to it? For me, it could be. I mean, I've got to admit, I earn good money anyway. I've earned over $1,000 today. So let me put that in perspective. But what I do with my income is it goes to the Philippines. I don't even take it to I don't even have the money anymore. I give it away. It looks after the stuff going on in the Philippines, and like when my father-in-law died, paid for the funeral. My mother-in-law makes sure she's taken care of, all the electric bills, the water bills, all that sort of stuff. But yeah, you can live off it, but quite simply, I don't need to anymore. When I was in the Philippines, it was a very good resource for income, but these days I just don't need it. But if you're asking me if you could make a living on it, the answer is yes. Should you focus on the Philippines? The answer is no. The Philippines is not a genre that is useful for making a good income, because anyone with a camera is in the Philippines genre. What you want to do is focus on stuff other people aren't focusing on. Scuba diving, things that are a little bit different or quirky or interesting. You know, I was talking to my wife today, but she wasn't too keen on it. It's like just doing the restaurants, because we eat out a lot more than most people do. Because I've got to admit, when I'm working, I eat out in a restaurant probably every day, new restaurant every day. That's one of the things I like doing. So for me, eating out is quite a normal thing, but it's only recently I started to realize that a lot of people don't have that opportunity to do. And I was just thinking that it could be nice for us to actually share that sort of stuff, because it's interesting, you know. Tutu STE Tutu, would you buy a pre-sale condo? I would buy a condo after people were so desperate to sell it, I get it at half the price. That's what I would say on that. I would not buy pre-sale ever. It's all built on hype. I would always buy after the people have realized that the guaranteed rent for the next 5 years, and we will get somebody in there for you that the sales rep tells you. When that doesn't happen, that's when I would buy it. You know, when people actually struggle to pay it, I'll buy into it. That's how the Philippines works. If you have money and offer people, they spike the price up. If you turn around and wait till they're desperate to sell, you'll get it at rock bottom. It's just the way it is. And the thing is, it sounds a little bit stupid or crazy that if you offer them a good price, they would then try and overcharge. It's just the way it is. There's no getting away from it. That's just the logic that happens locally. So yeah, I wouldn't invest on a pre-sale condo, not unless I owned the lot. Then I'd advise you to buy my lots, buy my condos in my lots. But beyond that, no. There's plenty of people trying to sell you a condo, and they've already spent a lot of money on it. Does rent to buy apply to foreigners? I'm not 100% sure on that, because OFWs can buy them. And then some of these OFWs may never go back. So possibly. And the reason I say that, if you imagine a piece of land only costs X, then the cost of your, say, 4 condos has probably covered the cost of 16 condos, because the land has already been purchased and the manufacturing cost is probably 40% of each condo. So you wouldn't need many to actually be in profit. So I would say they may do. You'd have to approach the companies and see what deals you can get. Haida Al-Shakil. I decided to move to Spain. I have 20,000. Is it enough to buy an apartment and have a family? Depends where you are. I would say for me, where I live, no way. You get a studio apartment if you're lucky. You'll find some work in my area, but it won't be well paying. But if you move further inland, you could probably buy a bigger place, but there is no chance of work. That's the problem. So you would be better off using the money as a rent and just getting kickstarted. Depends how many, as a family, you're looking to move over to Spain. So yeah, I would say you'll find it very, very hard with 20,000. I think in my first year, I spent something like 45,000 euros in Spain. Paul Johnson, all that eating out, are you eating a healthy, balanced diet and not just taking the kids to McDonald's and KFC? We're eating in some nice restaurants, although McDonald's has been the last 3 Saturdays. But yeah, generally my diet's pretty good. I'm not gaining too much weight. I'm still struggling to get down to that 110, but I'm not far above it. I've been down to 112, so it's not too bad. You know, it's the thing is, a bit of exercise, I burn it quite quick. Mike S., what do you think about Bitcoin? I think Bitcoin will be heading to $50,000 within the next 6 to 18 months. The reason being, it has a market demand because it actually is used for buying other cryptos, and other companies on the crypto space actually use it. So there's a lot of people holding Bitcoin, which is why the value goes up. The other side of that being is there's a severe problem with transactions right now because it can't deal with the volume, which tells you there's more people coming into it. You've got to understand, most people only know Bitcoin. Bitcoin's one of over 500. So yeah, it's going to go up in price without a doubt. There's no getting away from that. Yeah, hi dear. What area do I live? I want to move to Alicante and I work in construction. Can I find work there? And thanks so much for your time and help. No problem with helping if I can. What I recommend is Alicante is fairly cheap. There's plenty of locations in there, but you need to rent. Finding work's not difficult. Finding work where they'll actually give you a contract may be difficult because a lot of them like you to be what they call autonomo, which is self-employed. So they'll expect you to sort your own social security and stuff out, which can be difficult when you're trying to put all your paperwork together for residency, etc. But I'm sure you'll be fine. There's plenty of work in the area, but just bear in mind that a lot of the pay is not great. I don't really rely on the local income financially, so but I know what the rates are, and you're probably looking at somewhere around 9 to 15 euros an hour in construction. I hope that helps. Mike Carell, is immigration to Spain as easy as the Philippines as far as red tape and procedure? Yes, although you can't just turn up at the airport, but once you get through the airport, yes. They don't bother you at all here. They'll tell you to come back. You know, they'll just go, you know, I had it when I first arrived and I was going to go, oh, you know, I booked an appointment for my residency, doing this, doing that. And they're like, but I'm flying to the UK tomorrow. And they're going, oh, you have no appointment in the book. I said, I phoned 2 months ago for it. I was like, don't worry about it. Sort out when you come back. That's what it's like here. They don't care. Benji Baker. Hello, Matt. Peculiar question for you, but you are likely to have some good ideas. I'm an automotive engineer and I wish to move to the Philippines in the future. Do you think I could set up for myself? The answer to that is there's a lot of bad mechanics in the Philippines, and there is certainly some expats that are doing quite well in that industry. There's a guy down in Dumaguete. Somebody may actually know his name because I can't think of it off the top of my head. But a lot of expats take their vehicles to him because he actually does a good job. I know from my own experience that there's a lot of bad mechanics here in Spain. Actually drive about 20 miles to a good mechanic because not because he's British, but it's the fact is he did a good job when I needed some work doing. I already got ripped off by a Spanish mechanic. So he'll just keep my business going forward. That's it. You will get the same thing. As soon as you start producing a good quality service, you will not only get the expat community, you'll get Filipinos and everybody else using you, because there's so many people that have this thing where they'll fix one thing and break another in the hope that you'll bring it back to them next Tuesday. So yeah, there's certainly a business there. If you're asking me, can you own the business? then I would say you have to look into the paperwork. It's a little bit more complex, but you could certainly be a advisor on the business, that's for sure, and you could certainly make it work. Lost the Nomad. Hello, hey, how's it going? So, how's everybody doing for Christmas? By the way, is everybody geared up for it? Yeah, Benji Baker. I'm glad I'm honest. Yeah, I know the feeling. Sometimes it works against you. I'll tell you that now. But yeah, in the mechanical sense, the word will spread that you can do a good job. I know Ray Swarbrick, for example, does a lot on engines for the farmers. He does a lot of water pumps and things like that, generators, and they all bring him to him in his area because he's very, very good at what he does. Uh, yeah, Neil Hargraves, Christmas though, a long way off. I get reminded at least twice a day by my kids when they're going to school and when they come home. That's the minimum. 14 days, I've been told. Yeah, I'll tell you what is good though. This may be good for your kids as well. You can find you can send Santa letters online and they'll actually get a response while you're viewing it. And the kids love that stuff. Mike Carell, don't want to live in a big city, don't want to live in the middle of nowhere. What's your picture of places in the Philippines for comfortable and safe retirement? Merry Christmas and thanks. Merry Christmas to you too. For me, I like Minglanilla. I know some people don't, but the reason I like it is it sort of sits just outside Cebu City on the south, and then you can head south into Naga, and then down to Argao, and then just keep going south, and then you can head over in the ferry to Negros Island, or I can head into the city, pick up Pier 1, go to Bohol Island, and pretty much anywhere else in the Philippines. It's up to you, but the reason I like Minglanilla is accessible anywhere because I like traveling around. So one thing I would say is if you find somewhere that's comfortable, then just travel around the Philippines. As simple as that. Just get somewhere that's very accessible. Just get outside the city a little bit so that you've got access to all the food, the hospitals, and everything else, but lower cost of living and easy access to fast roads. That's all I can advise on that one. Yeah, Benji, true of any professional, trust, reliability, and integrity. Yeah, they're very hard to find these days. Yeah, lost the Nomad. I'm invested in Bitcoin just over a year and making money. Yeah, yeah, it's a good way to make a living. That's definitely without a doubt. The thing is, you got to know what you're doing. I know some people invest and then, I mean, it's all right if you just buy Bitcoin and hold it if you have no idea and don't want to research, but there is a lot of opportunities in there if you put the time in. Neil Hargreaves, I'm a digital nomad. I don't have to particularly live anywhere. I've got friends in Spain, have watched your channel for a while now and really fancy making the move. How easy would it be for me to jump on a plane, rent a place with great fast internet, and how long could I stay without any grief? The first thing is fast internet. That's one of the big problems in the Philippines is finding good, reliable internet. The cities even suffer with it in some respects because there's a lot of throttling and manipulation that goes on with the internet. That's one of the downsides. So it depends how fast is fast. I mean, I'm sitting here with my connection here. I've got 20 meg. My father in the UK sits on an 80, but can get 150. But in the Philippines, most of the time I've got about 5. Government-wise, as long as you pay your visas, nobody cares. That's it. They don't really bother you. Yeah, Tim asked Matt about his rentals. Yeah, I've got several apartments in Minglanilla. Thanks for mentioning that, Tim. How's it going? My dad just moved to Rota. No, don't know anything about Lost the Nomad. Um, don't know the location because Rota isn't that round? Is a word? 22 STE22. Bitcoin is a good income, 1% a day. I can't really advise anybody to invest in things like that because I know how those systems are set up. So yeah, it's up to people who want to invest in it. Myself, I haven't invested in that too much. Tim Rogers, Bitbubble, same old crap, different day. Yeah, that's it. I mean, I find that with the UK, that's why I left there. You know, that's why I'm sitting in Spain. You know, I found the UK where people work too hard for too little pay, with even less things to do to enjoy themselves. That's the hard bit. Because even if you got cash in the UK, finding things to do to keep yourself entertained when it's so dark all the time, that was the hardest bit for me. Lost the Nomad, Rota, Spain, on the coast south of Seville. No, I haven't been there, but I find most of Spain is pretty friendly. The only places that may be a little bit different is major capitals, and the only reason I say that is globally, their capitals seem more aggressive than anywhere else. Just to the fact people are living on top of each other. But I find Spain a really great place. Been up to Valencia. I've been. I don't even know how many towns and cities I've been to now, but we love it here. People are really, really friendly. If they're not friendly, they're not bugging you. You know, it's that's what I like about here. Mike Carell, have you been to Tagatai? Any good? No, I haven't been there, but somebody has, because I remember reading that in an email recently. So if you got somebody there or want to know somebody there, I can probably put you in touch with somebody that's actually in that location right now. But yeah, I love Spain and I love the Philippines. There's the two different sides to the same coin in many ways. There's some reasons I love the Philippines and some reasons I love Spain. This is why, you know, I know my Spanish friends don't let me saying that Spain is Philippines 2.0, but there's so many things that are so similar here. It's ridiculous, especially when you get into bureaucracy. Hi dear, what part in Spain do I live and what kind of job you do there? I work for myself and I live in Torrevieja, which is about 45 minutes south of Alicante. I deal in assets and investments. I own my own company. I work for myself. My life's pretty good, but I don't rely on Spanish income at all. My income is predominantly on investments. I have a constant flow of contracts coming out the UK that want me to deal with asset management. There's a contract in January wanted me to manage a load of surveyors for surveying prisons in the UK. So I hop in and out the UK as Spain as well, as and when required. But that's getting less and less now. I work 3 months earlier in the year, and it'll be January, February, March. I'll probably be doing 3 months in the UK. So 6 months of the year I work. Mike Carell, so where does one start if I'm going to research Bitcoin, and what would be the cost of an initial investment? Mike, I would say I would start looking at how to install a Bitcoin. I think the easiest one is probably Bread Wallet, and look for Coinbase. Bread Wallet and Coinbase will be good points because Bread Wallet will store your wallet on your phone. Coinbase will actually show you how to get money into the crypto space. Another thing you have to watch is with Coinbase is they do eat fees. You're looking at about 4% cost for getting money in. So if you're going to move $100 or $1,000, you're going to find that if you moved it in 10 $100 is going to be more expensive than one $1,000 transaction. You have to look at the transactions yourself. But I would say that don't invest anything you can't afford to lose, and you can just hold the money, and unless you actually want to look at investing, which is a bit more complex. And I could spend the next week teaching you about the investment stuff, if not more. There's at least a month's worth of data just to cover about different ways of trading. 22ST22, would you build on leased land? If the lease was 100% locked in the sense they couldn't grab it because it was viable, there has been cases, for example, in Boracay, where this is a few years back, there was an Australian on the first floor shooting down at the ground floor where the mayor had retaken the hotel on the ground floor. They were sort of attacking each other because the mayor wanted the land back because now the hotel was worth a small fortune. Robert Schindel, Coinbase has been hacked before. Yes. The thing is, on the crypto stuff, there's higher risks on there all over it. There's no way of getting rid of that. But I'm not sure if people got their funds refunded or not. So I can't really comment on that too much. Benji Baker, sorry to keep asking questions, but going to Milan for the first time next year, any advice for conspicuously English-looking Englishman when you and your family have a great Christmas? I would just say, just chill out. Don't worry about it. The problems, I think the Turkey's cleaned most of them out now. And he's still working on a lot of this stuff, but because he's coming down so hard on things, I think a lot of things have improved, even though there's many people that dislike the way he deals with it. The way I look at it, I think it's one of those things that needed to happen, whether we like it or not, purely because the corruption was so bad. But yeah, Tim's a good person to ask. Tim's been a few times now. Yeah, 22ST22 hard wallets are good. Yeah, the only thing is with a hard wallet though, you've got to buy one in the first place, like Trezor or whatever. You're gonna have to buy it, which will involve having BTC to buy it, I think. So that's my response on that one. But I mean, the thing is, if you're throwing $100 in or whatever, it's not really a big investment. You can't really justify spending what 40. I don't know how much a Trezor is these days. Buying one of those if half the investment is the cost of your hard wallet. That's the only thing on that. If nobody knows what we're talking about, they're talking about keeping your money safe. If you've got Bitcoin, there's things called a hard wallet, which are basically, some of them look like a USB stick, and you transfer the money onto it. It's an interesting conversation today. It's gone in multiple directions. Anybody got any other questions? This one's gone a bit quiet. Either that or my screen's hung, one of the two. Benji, my first time in the Philippines, been married to a wonderful nurse for 3 years and still haven't met her family. It should be an interesting trip then. I mean, the first thing is you're already married, so that puts you in the right setup. Mike Carell, sorry to sound a bit naive, but crypto is still beyond my perception. How do you actually cash it in? In the same way you would with, you buy Bitcoin, you can sell Bitcoin. It's the thing is, you can sit on it, then cash it out through Coinbase, but there's a complex way of doing that. I would say look at GDAX, GDAX, for cashing it out and selling it, because you get a better rate. But it's it's difficult to explain if you haven't been in that. It's more a case of you spend an entire day trying to understand how that market works. But it's worth taking a look at, that's for sure. Hi there. Do you prefer Alicante or Valencia? They're two different environments. Alicante is on the coast. Valencia is a nice big city. The food's very good in Valencia. I like the food up there. I like the museums and stuff up there. Um, the climate's very different between the two as well. So I'd have to say you'd have to. But if you're looking for work and family environment, I'd probably go with the coast. I'd probably say Alicante for a family life. But the wages would be better in Valencia, but the cost of living in Valencia is much higher. As I was speaking to Alexander earlier, a lot of the businesses now are heading to Valencia because, like with the restaurants, Madrid, Barcelona was the first with the big restaurants. Then it was Madrid, and now everybody's going to Valencia. So there's a lot of stuff going on. It's beautiful there, though. I do like it. Neil Hargreaves, we've been hit by this mad snowstorm in England. Has it hit you there, Matt, or are you still basking in the sun in your Speedos? If I say my office doesn't have any heating and my window's open, what would you say? Yeah, it's not. It's probably about 14 degrees, 15 degrees. Mike Carell, you can take the girl out of the Philippines, but you can never take the Philippines out of the girl. Yeah, I agree with that. It's part of life, and I think a lot of expats have the same experience. Once you've been there and done it, it opens your view to not only opportunities but perspective and evaluation of everything. You know, because I get really frustrated when people, you see it in these garbage newspapers when they're going, oh, these kids are poor, they didn't get an Xbox for Christmas, and you're like, these kids didn't get an extra portion of rice this month because the price went up. You know, it's like people have no idea. 22ST22, live in the city or live by the sea. For me, I like both. That's the problem. This is why I like still working, even if I don't have to, because we're a contract work. I go into London and other places like that where I actually enjoy it. At the same time, I like being on the coast. Great for the family, safe environment. Go cycling, hiking, all that stuff right on my doorstep. We've got a swimming pool, tennis court. So you've got to have both. You know, a bit spoiled for choice. You know, my personal thing. Yeah, Tim Rogers, bring gifts. Gifts are always good. I think Cadbury's is the number one for bringing gifts to the Philippines, isn't it, Tim? Because they can break it down into smaller quantities, which is a good one. So getting lots of chocolates. I think my first trip was 30. I think it was 36 kilos of chocolate, ridiculously. But yeah, but funny enough, I work near the Cadbury's. What do you call it? The factory shop. So it didn't cost me a lot, but they still have photos now of the Cadbury's. Woolworths used to do these Cadbury's chocolate bars bigger than a computer keyboard, and I took several of them, and it was like a Kodak moment. People were taking pictures with these giant chocolate bars. It was just funny. Yeah, Benji Baker. What do you think about regarding the old-fashioned values of Filipinas? Personally, I adore it. Many years of debauchery. You're using some fancy words here, Benji. I have to like check my glasses because I haven't seen some of these words for a while. But for me, I like the fact that my wife is very traditional, and I know some people complain their wives aren't traditional, but then I then go, maybe you chose the wrong wife. You know, it's the end of the day. I like having a good, solid family values where a marriage is for a lifetime and not for a weekend. That's my viewpoint on that. Yeah, Tim Rogers, you will find the range of products very limited and expensive over there over the Philippines. One of the things I do recommend in carrying a few of is Sudocrem. Which is in the UK is predominantly used for the old butt rash for babies, but it's good for mosquitoes, it's good for cracked skin, it's good for blistering, it's good for burns. And I even one of my wife's cousins used to have this really bad inflamed acne problem, And she went away. We just gave her some, and the following day she come back, and her skin had actually healed. You know, it nearly all gone, and we gave her some more. And they were spending a lot of money. She was going to specialists and stuff. Yet this pseudo cream healed her. You know, and in the UK, it's dirt cheap. It's because you got to look at it the other way. The size of a super glue tube is the sort of stuff they charge 300 pesos for in the Philippines for a cream for your skin, a cream for a cracked skin, a cream for burns, a cream for this. Pseudo cream does it all, and it comes in a giant tub that costs less. And that's the way I look at it. Yeah, Don Coe, can you send money to yourself while in the Philippines using Zoom? I think you can. I can't confirm it because I haven't had to do it. It was one of the things I was looking at myself as well, where I could pre-send money to myself through Western Union back in the day. But you may find it cheaper to get yourself a prepayment card and just load it as and when you need it. You can just transfer money from your bank account onto the prepayment card and get a better rate. Tim Rogers, you can use many money sending agencies. Pick one for a good rate. Yeah, I agree. There's better ways to do it. Myself, I don't have these problems because I've got. Let's put it this way: we've been in Spain for 3 years. I've been sending money there for 3 years, so it's not. I've got money stacked up there, so I don't even need money anymore in there, at least for the next few years. But yeah, I recommend. Prepayment cards are good. Maybe getting two, so if one gets stolen, you leave like $50 on it, whatever. Doesn't matter. You got a second one as a backup. But yeah, sending money to yourself is a good idea. It limits the amount of risk you have with carrying too much money on you, especially if you get robbed. I had a tenant do that. He only lasted a day. He had a mental breakdown because I didn't know before he moved in he was bipolar in the first place. Then he had a complete meltdown because he lost $1,500 in a matter of minutes of being in the Philippines. And it's just like, what are you doing? You know, yeah, Mike Carell, careful of Poli. They ask you for your bank password. Yeah, I don't think I don't give my password up to anybody. 22STE22. Do you feel safe with a PI bank account? I was transacting up to $17,000 a week and had no problems beyond the fact they didn't know what a Premier account holder was. That was my main issue with the banking. I had to phone them every Friday. Hi, I need to withdraw this to pay everybody's wages. And then I'd have to go in 2 hours. I had to give them notice to get enough money at the bank so I can go and get my money out to go and pay everybody. But yeah, it's not a problem. One of our family relatives, I have no idea how much money he's got in there. He's far wealthier than I am. And he used BDO, no problems. Yeah, emergency funds are always a good thing. Like you're saying, if you can pick it up with a number or a, what do you call it, a prepayment card, so you can withdraw it at an ATM, even if you've got it in your back pocket or somewhere safe, or keeping a number where you can go to Western Union. The problem you got with things like Western Union, though, is that if you get robbed and somebody steals all your ID, you ain't going to be able to get the money out. That's the only thing. So it may pay to just have access to somebody you can trust, which is the hard bit, to leave some money there somewhere. I haven't really had that problem, to be honest, but I could understand how that could happen. But if it's your first trip, I don't think you'll have too many problems anyway. Just keep yourself safe. Just use a bit of common sense. Most of the problems that happen to people is down to a lack of common sense. And a lot of the stuff is they can see it, but they don't want to admit it. When somebody tells me they're, you know, the amount of times I've heard people say, the girl's scamming me, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, yeah, but we were talking about this. I didn't think she was genuine. Yeah, but she told me she loved me. And it's like, and, you know, doesn't mean she ain't going to steal from you. There's a lot of girls out there that will tell you they love you every day as long as you keep giving them cash. That's how it works. And it's not about the Philippines. You can go anywhere in the world. I mean, when you see these old guys in Hollywood or whatever in the wheelchairs, and they've got a girlfriend, wife that's 20 something with a pair of footballs for breasts, I don't think she loves them. There's something about it just doesn't seem genuine to me. But then again, she still managed to get the wheel out of the guy. But that's what I'm talking about. You need to be switched on to this stuff. You know, don't assume that everything's going to go your way. You're better off assuming nothing goes your way, because then you can calculate against it. And it's not bad. It's just real world. How much advertising and marketing and stuff rammed down your throat to buy this, invest in this, do this, is done to you on a daily basis. You know, you switch on the TV, you watch 10 minutes of a TV show and get 5 minutes of adverts. That's no different. And this is the thing. When people see an opportunity, they will exploit it. If you can see the exploitation, you're a lot more protective of yourself on it. Where are we now? Yeah, people love your money, Donko. Everybody loves your money. 22STE22. Do you think the house share dorm type properties for young city workers a good yield? It's a good yield unless you get a murder in there. So if you're doing them, I was looking at this for shipping containers, because obviously it's already got a pretty strong structure in there. Then subdividing it with doors and stuff on there, it could work. You need CCTV. The profits on it will be negligible unless it's in somewhere like Manila, where you're going to get higher yields on it, and the construction costs are pretty slim. They don't cost a lot at all, but you can actually make a lot of money through the fact is you can stack them up, put them sideways, build them into huge dorms. But the main thing is you need to make sure that they're secure. People have access to everything. They're safe. There's no robberies. There's CCTV watching everything. You get it right, you're on a steady income with very little hassles. Mike Carell, do you experience any terror moments in the Philippines, like being robbed or mugged, etc.? How long did you live there? I was there for 8 years. I fell off the back of a bus with badminton rackets. I was intoxicated at the time. I didn't realize how bad it was till I got home, and then my wife noticed my back of my head was split open. But not really too many problems. I've been approached with people trying to sell me marijuana. Most Filipinos are pretty chilled out. But one of the things that I do is I take out what I will spend that evening. So if I spend it all, I'll have to get a taxi home. Then somebody at the house will have to pay for the taxi because I have no more money in my pocket. I do not take wads of cash with me, ever. Now, experiencing things that were probably a bit scary for a lot of people, I would probably say is earthquakes. Because if you're not familiar with them, I've had it where I sort of lay in bed and I've had to put my feet on the wall because I'm like, is this, because the whole building's shaking, and I'm putting my feet on the wall to think it's not just my head. You know, it's like you're getting something that can focus that the whole thing, the whole building is shaking. Then I'm running downstairs, grabbing everybody because everyone's in a blind panic. They're hiding under the tables and stuff. And I'm like, just get out to the field, because there's no concrete to fall on your head on the field. Just get the hell out of the buildings. So, you know, running around and just getting everybody safe, that's probably the scariest things. But people threatening me and stuff, nothing that bothers me at all now. Hope that answers your question. Benji, I've seen in a video of yours about not carrying cash. Really don't want to carry cards. Any good discreet money belts, etc. you can recommend? Thanks, Matt and Tim, for your advice. If you're going to wear, one of the unique ones is probably a belt, because you can actually, there's some belts with a zip in the back. You can tuck some money in that, which if you get robbed, at least you got some money to get home. You can stick a few thousand pesos in there. So yeah, you just got to keep it safe. But yeah, there. Have a look on the markets for the leather belts with the zips in the back. You can keep your cash in those, and very difficult to be robbed. Mike Corella, a dwarf tried to attack me in Maleti, but I could not run. I could run faster. Well, that's like a two-word joke I heard this week, which was dwarf shortage. Benji Baker, Phil's inner city sounds like parts of Amsterdam. Don't stand out and politely decline whispered offers. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Although there is some YouTubers that seem to love hanging around in those places. Ah, there you go. Tim, was that yours when there was that big earthquake there? There you go. Yeah, because the earthquakes are. So the big problem I have is I'm sort of responsible for a lot of people. So I'm sort of more concerned about everybody else is clear of the buildings and stuff, especially with the kids. So, yeah. So how did you find it, Tim? Yeah, Tim Rogers, buy a hat with a pocket in it. There's another one. Because there's not going to be many people can reach your hat. That's for sure. Same as if you're wearing shoes, you can tuck some money in your shoes, but you shouldn't really be carrying that much money on you anyway. I mean, I'm not saying where my money goes, but I don't carry much money on me at all. I just carry on what I need, but I've always got plenty of cash with us, but I just don't carry too much with me on my personal. So in your shoes, in the belt, just in small locations, it's. The other thing I do is fold my pockets back in my, when you put your hand in your pockets and you flip them backwards, nobody can put their hand in your pockets because they'd have to move the whole pocket back to the front again, which means you would feel it. But I know it sounds a bit strange, but just try it. If you get the canvas in your pockets and flip it backwards. Yeah, the funeral next door. I'm trying to remember which funeral that was, Tim. That was over at the bigger house, wasn't it? Opposite. Yeah, because Tim was there during a earthquake when there was a funeral. Just trying to think which one it was. I mean, the funerals are an interesting thing in the Philippines because they'll just extend into the road. So they'll put a canopy up there, like a big tent, and they'll just extend into the road. And I know in the UK, they would be like, you can't put that there, can't do this. In the Philippines, it's like they're having a funeral, mind your own business. Doesn't matter who you are, you just leave them alone. I've got to appreciate, I've got to admit, I do appreciate a lot of this stuff around the respect of funerals and things in the Philippines. Because they do take a lot of time for their deceased and people respect it, and you'll get people pay a lot of respects to the dead. Like you'll see a lot of the canopies are donated by mayors, governors, or whatever. They will move around for different funerals and stuff, and it's not expecting any reward or anything at it. It's down to the fact that they know it's their bit of appreciation for the town, the city, or whatever. And I do appreciate that a lot. Because at the end of the day, it's a very difficult situation for a lot of people to be in. I mean, for earlier on in this year, when we lost my father-in-law, we're quite lucky that financially I could support the costs, but you sort of appreciate how many people couldn't support that sort of cost that comes in, and I've had people approach me to buy, if I donate paint so they could paint the coffin and stuff before, which obviously I paid for. But the point being is the Philippines opens your eye to perspective that a lot of people have no understanding what poor really means. And I know some people, even myself, would grumble at the fact that they should have spent more when their person was alive on their health, then they've just spent on their funeral. But at the same time, it's difficult to do that when you need to understand the pain that these people are going through, which makes it very strange. It's a strange concept, you know. I lost my mother this year as well, and it was a bit like, it's a bit surreal for me because I'm quite a detached person generally. So for me, it's a difficult thing because I don't normally bother with funerals or anything like that. I've had to deal with two this year, in two different ways, which is really, really strange. But yeah. Benji Baker, is there much credit debit card fraud? Tend to see that as a Western crime. Have to stand corrected. Yeah, it's not really done in the same way in the Philippines. As long as you look after your money, you'll be pretty okay. I believe in the UK, we are standoffish regarding death or moreover celebrating a life. Yeah, I mean, in my family, we're a military family, so a pat on the back is pretty much a verbal way of dealing with anything. And that's it. Is if somebody pats you on the back, that's as far as most people will go. The people are like, yeah, there you go. That's it. Don Co, how much does it cost to hire and retain a lawyer in PH if you're a foreigner wanting to start a business, or is it a cheaper to reliable way to get your legal advice to keep your business plan viable? I recommend getting yourself a good partner, as in a female partner, and then just get a lawyer when you need them, because they'll just milk you for cash otherwise. A good female partner is not going to take too much money from you. A bad one will take everything from you. But the thing is, depending on the enterprise, you can retain ownership of things. Like, for example, if you keep all the receipts for anything you purchased, it's obviously yours. So they only have ownership of anything that is not nailed down. You know, at the end of the day, they, like, for example, you leased a lot and you have all the construction bills and proof that you paid them. The building is yours. In the same way, the tools or anything else, they're yours. You have all the receipts for them. Yeah, Tim Rogers, Dom, the hard part is finding a good, reliable lawyer. Yeah, it's just as hard to find a good partner. That's what I was saying. Focus on the partner, because you get a good partner, you don't need the lawyer, because it's normally part and parcel of a good marriage deal, because they can deal with a lot of this stuff for you. So life just gets so much easier with a good partner. And I've got to admit, I've probably had a very good run because I have a fantastic wife. My wife's very well educated, university graduate. She went to one of the best universities in the Philippines, etc. And she was self-sufficient. She earned a good salary before we met. So financially, my wife didn't really need me. And when we first met, we weren't even looking at dating. So that was a good start. Mike Carell, seems that everybody wants to rip the white man off in the fields after 7 trips. I'm starting to change my mind about retiring a SU in Spain soon. It's getting away from the locations that do that to you, to be honest, Mike. If you get away from them, you won't really get that problem. Also, people know I'm pretty brutal. I remember there's a conversation I had on my first trip was, if I give something, I give something. If people expect it, I give them nothing. And that sort of pretty much stood the test of time, because people know if I give you something, it's for free, it's for, appreciation, respect, etc. But as soon as you expect it, you ain't getting nothing. So this year we're just sitting about quite a large Christmas list, and I don't even know whether I should video this year or not, because I don't video the stuff I donate and stuff normally, but I'm thinking of doing it this year. I don't know if I'll tell you what frustrates me is these people that are actually begging online for other people's money to do stuff, where I do it all for free. Even with Typhoon Haiyan, I donated over $6,000, and then a few people wanted to give some money as well. So I then put my PayPal up, and then my PayPal ended up getting blocked. I'm like, okay, it's so frustrating, because at the end of the day, I was giving the money away anyway. These people were just wanting to help because they could see I was going into supermarkets and just buying up all the water and stuff just to deal with the disaster relief. This year, we're doing a bit with the special education department. We're just talking today about doing some of these hampers for the elderly as well. So I've asked my wife to get a list of all the elderly in the area so that we'll give them these food hampers. Basically, they'll just get a knock on the door and there'll be stuff so they've got food over Christmas. And there's a few other bits and pieces I'm doing, but I'll keep those private. But the point being is I'm not one for really glorifying helping people. I just find it vulgar that when people go out there and beg and say, oh, I'm doing such a great job. And it's like, you give them 100 pesos, you put the other 700 in your pocket. I hate it. Yeah. 22ST22, is everything in PI built out of a rebar, concrete, and hollow pop blocks? It is around the new places. If you head to places like Negros and then head out into the more remote places, they've got the traditional buildings. They've got these lovely clay ovens and stuff where they still use the old clay pots and stuff, the traditional ovens and things. In the cities, it's very concrete in rebar, but I do find that in Spain as well. That's the thing, at the end of the day. It's one of the things I found really weird in the Philippines. But also, if you head up, if you're in Cebu Island, because I speak of Cebu because I spent a lot of time there and I've driven on it, motorbikes and cars. There's the main road that runs sort of like two sides of the island, sort of like in a loop. And if you go over in the middle, it's all mountainous. You'll find a lot of nipa huts and stuff, which is, I tell you what, there's some beautiful places out there. You just need to believe and understand that the majority of people ain't going to kidnap you because you ain't got any money, or they don't think you've got any money anyway. They would rather just spend some time with you having a couple of red horse than kidnap you and stick you on YouTube for the afternoon. But it's an amazing place. There's so much to see, and if you spend time with different people in different communities, you'll also find they will actually share some of the stuff that they don't share with a lot of the foreigners. Because this big thing, I get it in Spain as well. People assume you already know, because if you're local, you already know. Oh, this fiesta happens every year. Yeah, but it's my first year here. I've never heard of this before. Yeah, but everybody else knows. Yeah, but everybody else knows, and they haven't told me because they already know. A lot of that stuff happens in the Philippines. And I find, like I said, I still find it in Spain. There's so many things. I'm like, why didn't somebody tell me this happened last Tuesday? Well, we assumed everybody knows. Everybody but me. But that's the way to deal with it. Jerry Kodanian, Philippine Life. Hello. Hey, how's it going? Yeah, Benji. Discretion is the better part of valor. The real heroes don't need recognition. Yeah, I agree. And that's the other thing. This is the problem I have right now is I'm thinking too many people are starting to see this as a way they can live in the Philippines. And I'm sort of, should I actually just turn around and say, look, I give this stuff away. I don't want your donations, but these guys should be doing exactly the same instead of milking your money and trying to pretend they're actually helping people when they're actually just milking it so they can live here full time. I'll leave that to you. Mike Corral, you ride a motorbike and you drive in the Philippines. You're a good man, but you're a nuts. I've got a Kawasaki Rouser in the Philippines, a motorbike, and we've only recently got rid of my 4x4 because I had a Pajero as well. But yeah, I drive. I go on the motorbikes. I drive night and day. Even in the nighttime, there was a funny case where I remember with me and my deceased father-in-law were coming back from a basketball game at Toledo City in Cebu. There's a little wooden sign. I have no idea what it said. It had red paint on it, but I was doing about 70 kilometers an hour, somewhere between 70 and 90 kilometers an hour. And I looked over and I just thought, what's that wooden sign just say? Just as the concrete ended and would hit the hardcore, and the bike just sort of like jutted along. And I'm just thinking, I'm going to lose the bike in a minute because we've got this big, the big gray hardcore style. And I'm thinking the bike's going to drop and I'm going to feel this. And then just suddenly hit the road and off we went again. My father-in-law was on the back of the bike at the time. He didn't say a thing. It was just like, like we just hold on and just go, nothing I can say or do. Yeah, that was just one of those moments. It's just like, and I'm like, there's the sign. And then the bike just sort of went up in the air, dropped down, and then it's sort of like wobbling back left and right as it's working its way through these rocks, and then just hit the road again, and away it went. Welcome to the Philippines. I love all that stuff. Yes, I do drive through heavy traffic as well. My wife tells me about that because I've had 5 motorcycle accidents in the Philippines, none major, thanks to the speed that most people are moving at. I think the fastest I've had in the motorbike is about, I think it was 110 or 130 kilometers an hour, which is along the SRP. But yeah, most of the time, lucky to get 45 with the traffic. Benji Baker, last question. Are motorbike parts easy to get hold of? And have you seen any breakers yards? I like being cheap. Motorbike parts, I recommend always getting genuine, purely because you know what you're getting. There's a lot of Chinese stuff you can get hold of. Breakers, there's plenty of breakers around. Ridiculous amount of breakers. What you normally do is send somebody off to get it for you because they'll be gone all day. They'll go to about 10 or 12 different ones looking for the part that you're missing, and then they'll come back with it and they'll work out cheaper than your lunch will. So that's what I normally do, is just send people off for but my motorbike's pretty much brand new. It's got less than 3,000 kilometers on it. My Pajero had the entire engine rebuilt, which is, I think it's 3 liter turbo. Yeah, Jerry Kodani and Philippine Life, you should have some form of transport in PI. I do recommend it because it gives you independence. You can get around a lot. On your first trip, you just hire somebody actually brought this up yesterday, actually. You can take jeepneys off their routes because they'll stick a sign up saying family, and then you can just hire the entire jeepney off its route. You can also find people locally that will hire you their car, and normally it would cost me about 1,500 pesos a day, including the driver. You have to buy him his lunch, but I'm not joking. 1,500 pesos, I really don't care. At the end of the day, he deals with parking with it. So if you're going into the cities or something, he'll actually drop you off at whatever you want to do. Because one of the things we do, like when we go into Cebu, is go to like the Basilica, because although I'm not religious, I am appreciative of the fact other people are. So they'll go off to the Basilica and stuff, and I'll just go and take photos of the church and things. So they'll go off and park it and pick you up in 20 minutes or whatever, so you don't have to deal with that. So it can work out, so you can get the most out of your trip. If you're there full time, yeah, like Jerry's saying, is get your own vehicle. Because the advantage of that is you can do what you want and go where you want at any time of day, because like certain times of the day it can be quite difficult to get taxis, for example, because they may not want to come out the city, because at certain times of the day they know they can get short runs that pay more than taking you 20 miles out of the city. So there's certain reasons why having a vehicle is worthwhile as well. It's also very easy to park a motorbike. I wouldn't recommend driving motorbikes unless you're confident with it, but you can park them pretty much anywhere, and kids will sit and watch your motorbikes and nobody touches them. So that's why I love my motorbike. I have to admit, when I go home, though, the first thing I do is go into the shower and just wash all the road dust off. But I do love going out on my bike. I love the freedom. I love the fact that I can get to A to B in about a third of the time of going in a car. I love the fact of it's just relaxing. If you know motorbikes, you know why. You know, that's it. You just chilled out. Alex Dixon, hi Matt. Hey, how's it going? Yeah, so yeah, independence is always a good thing. Vehicles are a great thing in the Philippines. If you've got a nice vehicle, just don't expect people to look after your vehicle. That's the thing. Because they often don't. Mike Carell, too many dynamics. Have a car or a bike accident. I assume that if it's your fault, you may be going to hell. Am I right? The if you hurt yourself, it's fine. If you hurt somebody else, it gets complicated. I think that's the easiest way of putting it. I've been in a few, let's say 5 accidents so far. Nothing major, and I've got nothing to complain about. And it has been good fun. You know, at the end of the day, the fun aspect of it has been worth having all that risk. I don't mind being hurt a couple of times. It's just part and parcel of experiencing motorbikes. I mean, I'll be honest with you, Mike. If this next 6 months goes the way I want, expect to hear some of my stuff in India when I go across India on a motorbike, which is supposed to be absolutely brutal and crazy. But that is on my list, and I'm probably going to do it in 2018. I've been putting it off my life, putting it off for the last few years, and I already have a group of people. As soon as I give the green light, are all coming. We're looking at riding across India on Enfield Bullets. I don't know if you know Enfield Bullet motorcycles. They manufacture them in India. They bought the entire factory out the UK. We're going to ride right across India on those. Probably take me a month or so, but all going well. I'm making enough money in the next few months. That's on the charts to do that. I've got a friend in India that owns a massive solar company. He's coming along as well. If he's listening, that'll be Nimesh. It's going to be, it was originally his idea. So I'm going to do this. We're going to do this. It's you know, life's only here once. You're either living it or you're just walking along. You know, you got to live it, enjoy it, experience it. Otherwise, you're just a tourist. You know, and I'm looking forward to this. And I've got some other stuff I want to do, but this has been the one that has to be up there on my. I don't like saying bucket list because it sounds so the same as everybody else, but it's just one of those things that's been on the list for a few years, and Nimesh brought it up, and I just thought we'll do this. So yeah, it's on my list to do. Benji, I lied. Is Sevilla as beautiful up close as it is from the air, or can you recommend any other non-touristy place to see in Spain? There's plenty of places non-touristy. I'll tell you what, once I get my new car, I'm going to tour a lot more Spain because I'm pretty much mobile. I don't need to be sat in the house. The big problem I have with the vehicle at the moment is it manages to go about 15 miles in one direction. Then it's like coughing on the way back. So it's end of days for the van, unfortunately. But once I replace that, I'll go to other places. Granada is supposed to be absolutely stunning. I know Wayne and his wife Eva went there, and they highly recommend it. It's an amazing place to see. So they all depends what you want to look at as well. Because see, the problem with me is being a surveyor, but you know that's my trade. I love architecture, and other people absolutely hate it, and I understand how other people hate architecture, but I love arches and things like that. I like trying to work out the complexities of it. The same way as my son sat here and gave me his mathematics to do, and because he does half of it, and I do the other half. And he likes watching me because it only takes me a couple of minutes to do it because I'm very, very good with mathematics. But that's me. I love mathematical equations. Alex Dixon just joined the stream, mate. But are you currently in Spain or the Philippines? I'm currently sort of, what direction am I? That's north west of Torrevieja in Spain. Yeah, I'm still in Spain. I'll be back in the Philippines during next year. I've got my mother-in-law coming over probably towards February now because I don't want to traveling in the winter. So her passport's done, her all the paperwork's done except for the next stage, which is we're sorting out the documents for her we've got to provide a certificate of where she's going to be living in Spain while she's here for the her vacation, which includes giving a document of the square meters of the building and the number of people in it. So we've had to get that from the local government, which will then be provided to the embassy, and then she can prepare for her interview with the embassy to come over here on a trip. It's very, very long-winded. It's a pain in the backside, but after we lost my father-in-law this year, I really want my mother-in-law to come over and experience Spain. And fingers crossed, I want to drive her over to the Vatican. I'll have to have a chat with a few of my friends about that as well first, see if we can make that very easy for her. Because I mean, she's not old, but you know, when you lose a close relative, you become aware that not everybody's here is immortal. So for me, if I can get her the early stages of next year, take her to the Vatican, get her over in Spain. After that, I can focus on myself. Because after that, I'll go back to the Philippines, go there for a bit of business, start kicking the call center back off, see how Jay's doing in my apartments. And then I'll come back, and then April could go over for a trip. I've already told April she'd go back now if she wants, but she's like, well, I'm not going to leave you here with the kids. Benji Baker, get pile cream for that venture. Yeah, it's all about the motorbike trick. I agree. Those saddles, they're pretty good, but some of those roads, yeah, they're going to be an adventure. Yeah, there you go. Alex Dixon. Yeah, they have the Alhambra in Granada. Great architectural piece of work. Also, the beer. I was drinking Alhambra beer for lunch today. So, not for lunch, at lunch. I'm not on a liquid diet. Mike Carell, really enjoyed the stream. Thanks so much for your wisdom this morning. You're welcome, Mike. Anytime, mate. Take it easy. I'm going to go and chill out for a bit, guys. So, if you have any other questions or comments, please drop me an email if you want, which is Matt at, sorry, which will be the best email? Yeah, Matt_Wilkie@hotmail.co.uk. But if you like this stream, give us a thumbs up because I'm sure a few trolls will give me a thumbs down regardless if they watch it or not. But have a great evening, guys. Great day, great afternoon. And if I don't hear from you before, have a fantastic Christmas and take care. All right. Thanks, guys.